How do you close out unwanted mind loops? How do you open wanted mind loops? You may be asking yourself that because we've been talking about mind loops quite a bit on this channel. Welcome to the Invincible CEO YouTube Wish Fulfilled Playground channel, where we help you manifest with ease because manifestation is simple, easy, and fun. You're doing it all the time, even when you don't realize you're doing it. So technically, you're not manifesting, but what we're doing here is creating different conscious choices. It's becoming so aware in the now moment, like that you're in this virtual reality game. And just as if you were to play a game on the computer, the only thing that ever matters is where you are in this moment, right? We're always moving through space and time for the unfolding of the choices that we made. And some are very apparent right here, right now, and others take a little bit more to unfold because your mind wants to blow you away. It wants to honor exactly who you are, what you're asking for, and what you're expecting. But for most of the time, you're expecting that other shoe to drop. You're expecting things not to go your way, even though consciously you would say, that's not what I'm thinking about right now. It might be the bigger activated program right now, right? If you think about a garden and it's overrun with weeds and you want to plant some new seeds in this garden, you're first going to have to weed the garden a little bit to make the room for the new seeds. But even after you plant the new seeds, it's going to take a little bit of time for them to start sprouting. And after we plant the seeds, we don't want to dig them up to see what stage they're in sprouting. We just make the assumption that over time and space, eventually we're going to see something emerge from the ground. But in the meantime, we keep ourselves busy with other things. So here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to help you close out. We're not going to call them unwanted and wanted in the sense where there's some emotional attachment to it. We're just realizing that we're going to be weeding our garden because even though some of the plants and the flowers that we had in the past are ones that we've chosen, and maybe occasionally sometimes ones get in there that we haven't, we really just want to start fresh and new. So what I'm going to do here in this little series, and I don't know if it's going to be daily or several times weekly or just a weekly series, but I'm going to give you different ways that you can close out mind loops. It's just like no different than deleting some things off your phone or your computer to make up more space to download and bring in the things that you want to play with, that you want to enjoy. And it's simpler than you think because this is active revision. But the important thing is you have to know what you want. So let's have some fun today, closing out these mind loops. I'm going to keep this nice, short, and simple. And I'm going to give you one example in each video, and then I'll give you some examples of the example in the video, how I would go about doing it. Now, there are so many different manifestation techniques. Just like when you go into the gym, there's so many different exercises you can do overall, and there's so many exercises you can do, say, for biceps and for shoulders and for back and so forth. And it's not about going into the gym and doing every single exercise there is every time you go. It's about having this beautiful repertoire of techniques and exercises that you can do in your manifestation journey, because there are no rules. There's no rules of manifesting other than learning how you do it for yourself, what works for you. And sometimes you can look back into a perceived past and say, oh, I like that and I want to repeat that again. Just like if you had a meal that you like and you want to have that meal over and over again. And sometimes you look back in your past and you go, yeah, I'll never eat that thing again. That wasn't the thing for me. So you can say the same thing about a technique, that you're not going to go back and do that technique ever again. And that's okay too. Like, we're always manifesting in what we're doing in our everyday life, and it shows us what our patterns are. So what we're going to be doing in closing out these loops is really just breaking old patterns. That's it. Everything's a beautiful pattern. Okay. So that being said, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, please high five us, give us a like, subscribe, give us a big hug. My name is Dede Powerniak. I am the Invincible CEO. I want to see you win. I want to see you win big. I want to see you win all the time, because that's what all this is. This is all about having fun. That's why I called it the Wish Fulfilled Playground. If you are not having fun, if you're making manifestation a job, stop. You're too much in your head. Right? So now that we know that we operate on patterns and loops, we can identify some of the patterns, and sometimes we don't even have to know the bigger patterns. So maybe you don't always pick the best partner, or you don't always make the best business decisions, and they have a lot of weight to them. So we're kind of going to even go a little bit smaller than that so that there's not so much attachment to the outcome, because in the Invincible CEO, we don't choose things to manifest things to put out fires of old realities, because those realities, those fires are meant to be in those realities. They never get put out. So if you're looking to manifest money, we're not manifesting money to pay a bill or to go buy something. We're manifesting money for the money to show up. And then once it shows up, then we can decide what to do with it, because you may bring it in to pay off a bill, but when it shows up, maybe you want to go on a trip. And because of the fact that you just manifested money so quickly, you can do it over and over and over again when you don't put any type of importance that you need this to fix that. Okay, so let's talk about a new pattern. And first off, always, forever and always in the Invincible CEO, before we do anything, I want you to make sure you've gone to 0 point. I want you to make sure that you're from a neutral state where there's no attachment to anything, that the best that you can. And I'm not going to go in and take you to a neutral state in this video, because we're going to keep these short. I've done that so many times on the channel. There is the Deep Dive in the Now series. You can type in and search for 0 point on the channel. I'll put up a video right here. I'll put some at the end of the video if you wanted the whole playlist. But the whole idea is, it's like, think about if you were drawing something on a piece of paper with a pencil and you keep erasing it. After a while, you're just going to want to toss that piece of paper out and just get a fresh piece of paper. So that's all 0 point does. It kind of just wipes everything out. It could be if you took your computer back to factory settings. So in this moment, we're taking you back to factory settings. That's what the 0 point does. So that when you come out of it and you make a choice or you start a new pattern, you know for sure that you can say, from this moment, it's 8:56 a.m. when I'm recording this on a Monday. I can say at 8:56 a.m. from this point, I know I was at 0 point. I know my choice was clear and conscious, and it had none of the attachments to it, right? So that's the power of 0 point. It lets you know that you are at a fresh start. Okay, so here's the first tip then of how to break a mind loop, how to break a pattern. And it's not even a thought, because we try to stay out of thought as much as possible. It's an action, an inspired action. So this is where you have to observe yourself a little bit before you can say 100% sure this is going to be the new step. So if we take the ultimate 0 point is waking up in the morning. Now, don't worry if you already woke up in the morning, you're watching this video. You don't have to go take a nap to do this again. You can do this that's why 0 point's important, because it's like another 0 point that you can do at any point during the day. But let's just say you wanted to wait till tomorrow morning and you're not even sure what it is. When you wake up in the morning, when you get out of bed, do you put your left foot down first, or do you put your right foot down, or do you put both feet at the same time, right? So think about when you woke up this morning, how did you get out of bed, right? Did you get off the right side of the bed or the left side of the bed? How did you get out of bed? So whether you realize it or not, your mind pays attention to every move you make. And if you normally put your left foot down, that's conditioning reality. And automatically your mind opens up the left foot down reality. Now let's keep it nice and simple, because this is like a flow chart. If you've ever seen the flow chart, you come to a choice, right? Or even if you're driving and you come to a dead end, you have to go left or you have to go right. So if you decide to go left, the left reality opens up to you. And if you decide to go right, the right reality opens up to you. And if you went left, but you were supposed to go right, you could always U-turn and come back around. So in the morning, when you wake up, let's say you normally put your left foot down. Left foot reality opens up. Now, I know it may not seem like a lot, but what I'm going to suggest, being the rebel that you are, I've said this many times before, I'm that bridge jumping friend your mother warned you about when you were a kid. You know the one. If all your friends were jumping off a bridge, would you jump off a bridge too? We are going to be rebels. And now, instead of putting the left foot down in the morning, we are going to put the right foot down in the morning. And that opens up a whole different reality. We're on the same template. It's still the same bedroom, but everything is different. And this is where you have to allow time and space to show you that it is. Now, maybe when you first put that right foot down, it doesn't seem like a lot is different, but it is to your subconscious mind. And this is how you start to understand that the little things that you do add up because they are part of bigger patterns. So putting your left foot down is one pattern, putting your right foot down is another. And I don't want you to complicate it with anything else right now. Just we know we're making one choice. And you know up until this point, if you put left foot down, what kind of reality that gives you. So now get excited that you're going to be exploring right foot down reality. And let's see what that opens up. Even if every choice after the different foot being put down is exactly the same, but it won't be. And you'll see. So let's say you put your right foot down instead, and the next three choices seem to be very similar, but all of a sudden you'll be very aware when the reality split and you're now going in a whole other direction. And that's when you start to do it with something that simple, you start to realize every single choice is actually two choices. It is either the doing of it or the not doing of it. And it opens up a reality because every now moment is a portal to a new reality. And most of the time, we don't give a whole lot of weight to the majority of our choices. So when we do give weight to a choice, your subconscious mind is very, very aware of that. And that's why we want to stay very neutral as we do this process. So another example, because I said I'll give you a couple different ranges of this. Let's say you're already up in the morning, you've done your 0 point, but you're now going to get dressed. So do you know what foot if you're putting on your shorts or your pants, do you put the left foot in first or you put the right foot in first? So if you can say normally that every time you get dressed, you put your right foot in first, now you want to be a new character of you, then put your left foot in first. And when I've done this if I've gotten dressed and I've forgotten, oh my gosh, which one did I put in first? I'll actually take it back off, zero it out, and deliberately put it in with the choice foot or leg that I've chosen to be in a different reality. This is how you can become consciously aware with something very simple, but don't be like expect it like immediately the heavens are going to open and everything's going to be different. But from that point forward, you're going to be very aware, very aware. Right? That's why if you've noticed when I do my videos, I'm in the same black jacket all the time because I want there to be the consistency because what I've made this black jacket, I've put a story on top of it. I've put a mindset on top of it so that once it was established and I activated the mindset, I've aligned with the mindset and I've anchored it in. Every time now that I put this jacket on, it immediately puts me in that character. That's why uniforms are so important, especially if there's a certain job that you do and you put on a uniform, or even if your uniform is a business suit, that you don't think the same way when you're not in that business suit. If you were doing business and you were more casual, it's a whole different mindset. And that's a way to, if you're normally so stringent in your thinking with a business suit, it might be a really good thing to put on a more casual outfit and do the same activity to see how differently you show up and how differently your mind expands or contracts, because each action, you won't know exactly what it is that it's going to provide you. And I'll give you an example. When I was working with a coach in nutrition and he was competing in Olympia, and we had paid him to give us a nutrition program. This is years and years and years ago, as I was learning how to train as a bodybuilder. During the course of our program, my partner and I were doing it together, and he was coaching both of us. And he said, okay, now's the time to take out any excess salt, because if we take out any added salt, you're going to lose more water weight, both of you. And what was really interesting was for my partner, that was exactly true. He cut the salt out and he like dropped, I don't know, 5 or 6 pounds like that first week because of the added salt. Not that we were using a whole lot. But when we expected the same thing for me, but you don't know until you get in and you're starting to work this and you're doing the inspired action, that my body had the opposite reaction. And apparently there's 10% of the population that this happens to, that if you take out the added salt, I retained water as opposed to letting it go. So we had to put salt back right in for me because we were going in the opposite direction. So just know that all realities exist. You won't know until you are in and you're moving around. So if you normally put that left foot down and now you change it to the right foot, but you don't like that reality that's showing up, then left foot reality is your reality. But you won't know until you give this an experiment. Like, this is one big grand experiment that we're having fun with in the now moment. So you can't get it wrong. So play with this a little bit. So today's tip then is you're going to, from wherever you are, you're going to zero out. And then you're going to be aware of what your normal choice is. And then you're going to go into the opposite of it and see where that takes you and stay very, very aware of what starts to show up. That's why after I make that one major choice, right, left foot or right foot, I go and try to flow. I don't force the old reality, but I start to pay attention to when different things start to show up that would not normally be there. And the fun thing about doing these type of techniques is that if you're focusing on this, your mind doesn't have an opportunity to go into those other realities where you're trying to figure things out, sitting down, and you're going into worst case scenarios because you're so busy in the now moment exploring, being this beautiful adventurer and explorer of reality versus trying to sit there and contemplate what should you do. You're actually now engaging with reality, and that's exactly what reality wants you to do. It wants you to engage. And if you see this as a fun, playful thing, that's exactly how it's going to show up. So I really appreciate you being here. I do want to mention once again, we are having another 2-day event, July 20th and 21st. It is our dream interpretation event. I'm going to teach you how to go deep into your subconscious, your pure subconscious, which is your dreams, and bring back so much powerful information that you can manifest, using your dream to manifest not only inside the dream, but in the daytime dream during the day. So you will learn so much about how your subconscious works, how it communicates with you, how you can pull information directly from it, how you can use that information to not only plant a seed in your nighttime dream, but do the same thing for your daytime dream. We are really diving deep into our beautiful subconscious because it is the bigger energy that helps us manifest a lot quicker. So if that is something that you're interested in the description box below, you will find the link to explore more information. Now, I will say this is not a marketing ploy. There are only 20 spots available because I can only do 20 interpretations. Like, it would be, the event would go on forever and ever if I did more than 20. So all the information is there. I'd love for you to be part of those 20. This is something, though, that you can't wait till the last minute to sign up, because the dream that you actually want interpreted, you have to submit it to me prior to July 18th so that we can have it for the 20th and 21st to actually dive deep into it. So there is a little bit of a process with this. This isn't one of those things where you can wait till the actual last minute, but because there's only 20 spots available and they are going to fill up quick, this one always sells out very quickly when I offer it. So I want you to get in now so you have your spot reserved. And I'm telling you, if you're curious about how using a dream incubation and a dream interpretation can change your life, if you've ever seen my physical transformation, and I've done a video and I will link that here, of how dream incubation and dream interpretation can help you change your life. It is how back in 2009, I created a reality where I lost 80 pounds in 7 months in 1 week from the information that was taken from my dream. And I will share that here so that you can watch that. And I look forward to working with you. Thank you for stopping by. I hope you're enjoying these videos. So what you're going to do today, just whatever your decision is, if you normally go left, go right. If you normally put the right foot down, then put the left foot down. Like, do the opposite, invoke the opposite, and then be very aware for the normal course of your day how things start to show up differently. And when they do, I want you to make sure you come back and comment in the comment section, because I love to hear when you're taking these actions and they're actually bringing you results. My clients are getting so many amazing results when you trust yourself and you trust this process. All right, guys, until we meet again, happy manifesting and enjoy.